Hey everybody, what's going on? Dr. Chad Woolner here.
And Dr. Buddy Allen.
And this is episode 31 of the Health Fundamentals Podcast. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about a groundbreaking new study that links this to early death. So let's get started.
You're listening to the Health Fundamentals Podcast. I'm Dr. Chad Woolner.
And I'm Dr. Buddy Allen. And this show is about giving you the simple but powerful cutting-edge tools you need to change your health and your life.
So sit back and enjoy the show as we show you the path to your best life down to a science.
So hey everybody, on today's episode, we've got something really interesting to share with you. There was a groundbreaking new study that was just released that I think helps dispel a really pretty common myth that's pretty pervasive amongst clever food marketers, I guess is what we'll say. This is basically what the new study said. It said it doesn't matter, and this was an article we saw on Washington Post. It doesn't matter if it's sugary or diet. New study links all soda to an early death. There was a study that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Internal Medicine. They said that participants who drank 2 or more glasses of soft drinks per day had a higher risk of mortality than those who consumed less than 1 glass per month. And it didn't matter if it was diet soda or regular soda, the risk was the same. So
that kind of has a lot of implications, because the first one being, we all have, we've been lied to and or misled by marketers, right. Diet versus, non-diet. And there's other studies that say diet, because of the sweeteners, there's a lot of different things that can happen from artificial sweeteners. It also shows that people who drink diet sodas actually gain more weight because they crave other things.
Right.
So, but even beyond that, I think even far deeper reaching is our infinite capacity to justify habits that we know are not great.
Right.
Because I think even people who drink diet soda know that, it's not the best of habits.
Right.
And it really, I think
But that's what you just said there, they think it's not the best of habits, but they think it's better than drinking regular soda, and that's not the case at all. It's not. It's like, look, you're better drinking water.
Yeah.
Or even for that matter, for those who don't like water, let's say, there are a lot of other options to flavor your water with various electrolyte powders and things like that are far better for you than diet soda. For heaven's sake, you can, even if you want, put a handful of stevia drop, not a handful, but a few stevia drops, flavored stevia drops is going to be far better for you than diet soda.
Sure.
But obviously water is going to be your best
Ideal.
bet there.
You bet.
Obviously. So anyways, this study was one of the largest of its kind. They tracked over 451,743 men and women from 10 countries in Europe. Didn't matter. Basically, they said for sweetened soft drinks, 1 or more glasses a day were associated with deaths from digestive diseases, including diseases of the liver, appendix, pancreas, and intestines. And that makes perfect sense. You're putting a tremendous amount of stress and strain on those organs. Obviously, pancreas. If you're consuming regular soda, you're putting it's like almost like you're putting a straight IV of sugar into your body's system. And so what's going to happen is your pancreas is going to have to produce a significant amount of insulin and other various hormones to be able to assist in.
This is kind of scary. I lived in Italy for 2 years, and a long time ago, mind you, and maybe their soda consumption has gone up a lot, but they didn't drink a fraction of the soda that we drink here in the States.
Right.
They don't have big gas stations where you can buy 32, 44 ounce fountain drinks at all. You can buy a 2 liter or cans or bottles, but they don't consume soda like we do here in America.
No.
Even close to the same amount.
Right.
So, I mean, you think about the numbers that they're already showing from Europe. That's kind of a little bit even more scary for those numbers, or what those numbers would look like here for us in America.
Oh, absolutely. And without, without making it sound too, I think sometimes the implications that are drawn from these things can make it almost seem like we're pointing the finger at some sort of a vast conspiracy. But the fact of the matter is, there's a tremendous amount of money in the we'll just say the sugar industry. I know there have been several documentaries that have been made talking about this, that for years researchers have known that it's not fat that's the big demon that they've wanted it to be, but rather it's sugar. The carbohydrate intake has been in fact, you said you watched a documentary not too long ago all on type 1 diabetes. Mm-hmm. And that was his conclusion, that he had done research. The background on that documentary, tell us about the background about that individual.
So my wife was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes just 2 years ago. And so trying to figure out this whole new way of living, she's done a lot of research and digging, and she found an old, and I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but there's an old doctor who, it's kind of funny, he was diagnosed when he was 12 with type 1 diabetes. And so as he grew older, and there was so many things that they were doing wrong that it just wasn't working.
He intuitively felt like, there was better approaches.
So he was an engineer, through schooling and stuff, and he started figuring things like when the first glucose monitors came out, and he actually rigged one up it was a huge device that he rigged up and took with him so he could check his blood like regularly throughout the day based upon what he was eating. And he had tons of wonderful data to share with the American Medical Association and these different journals, and they all poo-pooed it, saying like, oh no, it's better that they have there's no indication that high carbohydrates affects diabetes at all. Now mind you, this is back in the 50s and late 50s and 60s when he was first doing this.
But that's still not that long ago when you think about it, in terms of they had I thought they had a much more thorough grasp of human physiology and biochemistry.
Well, long story short is this gentleman ends up going to med school because no one would listen to him because he was not a medical doctor. Goes to med school so he can now be more informed and inform the powers that be. But even to this day, the Diabetic Association's diet recommendations are grossly, just way too much carbohydrates, way too much. And his whole story is, it's like, look, he's kind of helping people learn how to eat and manage their blood sugars so they're not destroying themselves, because carbohydrates, too many sugars in anyone's system is toxic.
Yeah.
So it just so happens that diabetics suffer the greatest effects of it just because they can't eliminate those sugars or process them as well as others.
Right. So for those who are watching who have heard of diabetes before and have heard of insulin and the pancreas and that that relationship, but may not be too familiar with how it all works. Basically, when your body has sugar, your body uses that as a fuel source, and your cells will use that intracellularly as a fuel source. But the way that they receive that, or at least most cells in our body receive that, is through insulin. Insulin is what shuttles that sugar into the cells so that the cells can utilize that as fuel, as energy. But if there's an excess of it, then what the body will do is it'll store it in the liver. It'll kind of package it together as a big kind of compound known as glycogen. And then beyond that, when we've kind of reached that, then it'll store it in fat cells. It'll convert it and you get excess fat. But then beyond that, the body will then begin to eliminate it through various channels, obviously urinating, excreting it through all those different things. But beyond that, when there gets a point in time where it's like the body can only do so much, and then all of a sudden we're talking about toxicity and all of those different things. So anyhow, in terms of the implications of this study, diet, sugary soda, punchline is pretty straightforward. how we fuel ourselves makes a big difference on our health. That's pretty obvious, And so one simple way that we can dramatically increase the longevity of our lives and the overall function and the way we feel, the way we function, is eliminating sugar. And one of the fastest and easiest ways is to eliminate the soda. Eliminate either way, diet or other. Doesn't matter.
Oh, absolutely.
So that could be one of the most simple, straightforward ways that you could make a dramatic improvement in your health, is just to eliminate that altogether.
It's just a healthy habit.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
really it. It's a healthier habit to just learn to not drink your calories, even if they're fake.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So hopefully this has been eye-opening for you guys. If you've been meaning to quit the habit of drinking soda, diet or otherwise, let this be perhaps maybe a wake-up call and or yet again another subtle or not so subtle reminder to stop that. So anyways, hopefully this has been valuable. If you know others that could benefit, make sure you share it with them. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. And if you got questions or comments, let us know. And we look forward to sharing more with you on the next episode. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to the Health Fundamentals Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so that you stay in the loop and in the know with all of the cutting-edge health information that we share. If you know other people that could benefit from this information, please share it with them as well. Also, be sure to give us a review. These really help us to ultimately help more people. Last but not least, if you have questions that you want answered live on the show, or if you have ideas for topics that you would like us to cover, please shoot us an email and let us know at info@thehealthfundamentals.com.